you draw attention often, as you do there, to the sort of outside presentation that we all make and the inside reality that's calling for mom. Talk about that a little bit. What do you think is the toll we pay for that sort of schism, or is it an interesting kind of dialectic?
Well, I think that just to talk a little bit about this in relation to that poem, I think mothers are, especially young mothers, you're suddenly plunged into a very solitary place. Your friends are at work. Suddenly, in my case, suddenly you're home all the time. You've got this adorable little child, but you probably wouldn't like spending 24 hours a day with a grown-up either. Mm-hmm. And it's very relentless. And there isn't that sense that feminism, I think, made us hope we would have of kind of solidarity, where you can really talk about the things you're going through. So in this particular playground, for example, there were so many women who were really fed up with their husbands. They had just had it. And if you ever want to really put a problem in your marriage, have a baby. Mm-hmm. Everybody's always saying, we're having a baby to bring us closer together. No, just the opposite is going to happen. So anyway, these women were going through a lot of different things, but it was those were things that people didn't talk about.
Well, is there a way, have you found a way, because you've not only been writing about this stuff for a long time, but working with and supporting and learning about a lot of groups that have tried to do this work, is there a way to talk about some of these things in a way that isn't threatening? I mean, I'm just thinking, I've been a member of women's groups over the years, and often what will happen is women will come around a cause, a war or something, mm-hmm. but this other stuff comes up, the feelings that we have about the lives that we lead, particularly if it's a women's group. I've found people get very nervous about the personal conversation, as if there's going to suddenly be a place where they have to sign a line that they'll, leave their husbands or abandon their children or be more politically correct.
Well, isn't it partly that these intimate conversations are hard to have without a very huge basis of trust? Yeah. And you often don't have that with people you don't know very well. And so you do feel, I'll put this information out there, but it could come back in a bad way. I never was in a consciousness-raising group. I went to a consciousness-raising group, to Bread and Roses, when I was an undergraduate, and it was in a church basement in Boston. There were all these married women, and I don't think hadn't even had sex at that point, and they're all talking about their sex lives. I was so freaked out, I thought, that's it.
Well, maybe it's a poetic kind of thing. I was complaining the other day, or noticing the other day, that 50 years ago, 40 years ago, there were poems on the front page of the New York Times. There were poems on the front page when man, as they say, landed on the moon. Poetry leaves a space for complexity and contradiction in the way that politics doesn't. Maybe we just haven't gotten comfortable with complexity yet.
Well, it's very interesting how many women do read poetry. And the poets that they love, that at least if you go by, Amazon rankings and things like that, are precisely the poets that do talk about these things. Sylvia Plath, Anne Sexton, Sharon Olds. I think there is a great longing to talk about our intimate lives and our intimate thoughts, and to share and to know that other people have experienced what we've experienced. I mean, that's the whole... that's behind the whole memoir thing and the whole recovery thing, is just wanting to know I'm not the only one who has these weird thoughts or had these strange experiences. And in a book, you can have that trust. You can have that trust with the author that sometimes you can't have in real life.
Talking about things that aren't explicit always, just go out reading one more poem, Silent Letter.
Oh, okay. Well, Silent Letter is a poem it's for my daughter, who is also a writer. And it draws on the curious fact of the English language that how many of the words that begin with a silent W are all about pain and struggle. Silent Letter. It's what you don't hear that says struggle, as in wrath and rack and wrong and wrench and wrangle. The noiseless wriggle of the hooked worm might be a shiver of pleasure, not a slow writhing on a scythe from nowhere. So too, the seeming leisure of a girl alone in her blue bedroom late at night, who stares at the bitten end of her pen, wondering how to write so that what she writes stays written.
Beautiful. Katha Pollitt's new book of poems, The Mind-Body Problem, is just out from Random House. You can get more information at our website, GRITtv.org, and of course, follow Katha's writings, subject to debate, in The Nation magazine. Thanks.